Ada for refusing to give up my window seat to an entitled mother and her son? Air travel is stressful enough without unnecessary drama, but my recent flight turned into a full-blown spectacle thanks to an entitled mother who insisted I give up my window seat for her 6-year-old son. I paid extra for that seat, and I wasn't about to give it up without a fight. But did I take it too far? Let me walk you through the madness that unfolded at 35,000 feet. I had a long flight ahead of me, about 6 hours in the air, and knowing how exhausting it would be, I splurged on a window seat so I could lean against the side and hopefully get some rest. I'm not a huge fan of flying, and the small comfort of a window seat makes a huge difference for me. Plus, I love looking out at the clouds. It helps keep my mind off the turbulence. I boarded early, found my seat, and got comfortable. My row was a standard 3-seat setup: window, middle, and aisle. Just as I was putting in my headphones, a woman and her young son, probably about 6 years old, stopped beside me. The mother looked at my seat, then back at me. "Excuse me," she said with a smile. "Would you mind switching seats with my son? He really wants a window seat." I was polite but firm. "I'm sorry, but I paid extra for this seat." Her smile immediately disappeared. "He's just a child," she said, gesturing at her son, who was already pouting. "It's not a big deal for you to switch." Now, I understand that kids love looking out of airplane windows, but I had paid for this specific seat. I explained that to her, keeping my voice calm. "I totally understand," I said, "but I specifically chose this seat and paid extra for it. I really prefer to sit here." That's when the fireworks started. The tantrum begins. The boy, upon hearing my refusal, immediately burst into exaggerated wails. I could feel the eyes of passengers turning toward us. His mother sighed dramatically, shaking her head as if I were some kind of monster. "Really? You're going to make a little boy cry over a seat?" she asked loudly, ensuring that everyone around us could hear. I glanced around. Some passengers looked uncomfortable, but no one was saying anything. I could feel the pressure mounting, but I stood my ground. "I'm sorry he's upset, but I paid for this seat and I'm staying here." At this point, the flight attendant approached, no doubt hearing the commotion. "Is everything okay here?" she asked, giving the mother a concerned look. "This passenger is refusing to let my child sit by the window," the woman said, crossing her arms. "He really, really wants to sit here, and it would mean so much to him." The flight attendant turned to me. "Sir, would you be willing to swap seats?" Now, this was the moment where I could have caved, but something about the entitled mother's entitled attitude made me hold my ground even firmer. "I paid extra for this seat," I reiterated, "and I'd really prefer to keep it." To my relief, the flight attendant nodded and turned back to the mother. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but he has the right to his seat." The mother let out an exaggerated gasp, as if I had just told her I eat puppies for breakfast. "You are unbelievable," she hissed. "It's just a seat. It's a child. Have some empathy." The little boy, sensing the dramatic moment, threw himself onto the floor of the aisle, kicking and screaming. People were now full-on staring. A few were shaking their heads, but no one was saying anything. The flight attendant tried to intervene, telling the mother she needed to get her son under control. But instead of calming him down, she turned back to me. "You must not have children. If you did, you'd understand." I shrugged. "I don't, but that's not really the point. I paid for this seat." Eventually, the mother had no choice but to take her assigned seat with her wailing son in the middle seat beside me. Great. For the next 30 minutes, she made it her mission to make my flight miserable. She sighed dramatically every few minutes. She, accidentally, bumped me with her elbow. She loudly muttered about how some people have no heart. Her son kept kicking the seat in front of him, making it clear he was still throwing a silent tantrum. Finally, An older man across the aisle had enough. "Lady, let it go," he said, glaring at her. The guy paid for his seat. "Teach your kid that he doesn't always get his way." A few people murmured in agreement. The mother looked around, probably realizing she wasn't going to get the public sympathy she had hoped for. She huffed, crossed her arms, and finally went silent. The aftermath. The rest of the flight was tense, but at least she stopped bothering me directly. When we landed, she gave me one last glare and muttered, "Selfish jerk," as she gathered her things. I stood up, stretched, and smiled. "Have a great day." "So, Ada for refusing to give up my seat to a child?"